this video, we're going to talk about the Cowl Vent Panel for the 280ZX. You can see here in front of me, we got an assortment, raw aluminum, black powder coat. There's some that have the cutouts for the windshield squirters, and some that don't, which would be this one and this one. Here we have a bag of adhesive back foam gasket and some hardware that comes with it. So just wanted to kind of show you everything the way it would come. These come flat, and then we're going to contour them to the car, because every ZX that I've put these in, we find that each one's a little bit different. And so to try to have one fits all doesn't seem to work as well as just a simple hand form to do to make sure it fits your car the way you want. And then the vent flaps, we can also hand form those up to get the angle that you want and get you going. So this is just a few of the options. They're available from Skillard.com. Next, we'll go and take a look about how we're going to put these on the car. So here we have a black powder coated Cowl Vent panel installed on our 280ZX. This one we don't have the windshield squirters, so that's this option that we have in place. You can see that we have the little vent flaps formed up. On this one we decided to meet in the middle and do opposite directions. You could leave them without forming them if you really wanted, or you could do them all one direction. There's a lot of different options. The mounting tabs are centered, so you can actually do them either direction. The thing I will say is that while they're really strong and durable, and you can flex these open as far as you want, you don't want to flex them open and back, because then you'll weaken and have the potential to crack the holding tabs. But once they're secured, they're going to stay put. So this one here, we're going to go ahead and pull back off. I don't have the foam gasket on it yet, so I'm going to pull that off, put the foam gasket on it, but then we'll also grab a raw aluminum one that's not formed at all, and we'll set that on there and show you how we hand form that into place to match the rest of the car. Okay, so I have this one here pulled off, and I wanted to make mention of a couple things. These clips, little J-clips that are in here, these come with the kit. There also is the plastic ones that are factory that are in there. You can use those if yours are still good, and the factory screws that hold down the plastic. But in the case of our car and the other ones we tested, not all those plastic clips were good, so we wanted to include another option, so that way in case you're facing the same problem, you don't have to worry about that. One thing, since they're right in front of us, you can see the hood vents, very similar in style, and that we hand form these up. These are also available from Skillard.com. But on this piece, since it's the one I'm going to put back on here once it's all done, I will be putting the foam gasket, and that's just to help give you a little bit of height to this, as well as make sure that you're not getting any vibration as wind goes over it. It fits on there securely, but I always like to just make extra sure. So this will peel back, and you have the little edge that runs around, and so I'm just going to go ahead and stick that along there, and so that way that'll be on here when I go to install this back in there. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this on there, and then like I said before, I'm going to get the raw one and just show you how I hand form that into place. Okay, so now I have the raw one here in front of me, and same process with the black one. I just thought this would show up a little easier with the black car as the background. So I'm going to go ahead and set this in place. This little cutout's here for the wiper arm, just like on the plastic. So I'm going to get this set in here. One of the things that you would notice is that just off the gate, the curve doesn't quite match, and that's because it has to be different, because once we form it down here, it's going to change it. So I'll set it on here. I'll start by getting this side here lined up. Get the screws in. And so you do have some play left to right. So I'm just going to try to get centered up to be about where I want it. And then, you know, just like any hardware, you don't want to over tighten it, but I'm going to get these all snug to have this center section held in place. Then, obviously you can see here and over here, like obviously we have this decent gap. And that's what we're going to do a little hand forming. So pretty straightforward. I'm just actually going to use the curve of the lip in the car to push this in. And you can see that as I push this in, it pulls this over. And if you look here, you can kind of see that we're on the edge of these two holes. And that's somewhat on purpose, so that way when you get that in there, it actually will cause a little binding restriction and hold this where you want it after you've done it. And then also, after you bend up these tabs again, it makes it even more rigid. So I'm going to go ahead and get this pushed into where I want it. Do the same thing on the other side. Add the outside screws there, outside screws here, and then I'll show you how I like to form up the little vent tabs. Okay, so I got it sitting in here, and one of the things is now that it's in place, there is still some play here, so I can loosen and tighten. You know, you can do a couple at a time or shift. You know, if I needed to, pull or move this in order to have the alignment the way I want it. This one again, I don't have the foam on it yet, which you could do ahead of time, or you get it put in place, then just pop it off real quick, put the foam on, put it back down. This is the look if you just leave it flat, just without these turned up. But then now I'll go ahead and show you how I like to get them turned up, and I'll bend a few of them up so you can see. Okay, so when I go to form these, I'll normally use my fingers, but there's a little bit of a tight spacing, so that might be a little hard to do. So another option I wanted to show you was just a set of needle nose pliers. You don't want to use just the plier. I'll use my plier and hand just to help it, and want to make sure you put something over the teeth. I put some tape on this, so that way I don't mar up the aluminum, or in the case of a powder coated set, you scratch the powder. So I'm going to do half one direction, half the other direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So I'll go ahead and get this in here. And with this other finger, I'm going to start just giving a little twist up. And that's about how far I like to do it. You could do a little more, a little bit less, not at all. Obviously, we talked about once that first one's up, I have more room to get the pliers in. And then it's just real easy, simple. And it's better to go a little bit under, and then, if you need to come back and fine tune them, you can. And so you can see there, I've got those 6 turned up, and I'll just continue to work my way over here, and then I'll do the other side. And even as you do that, it adds even more tension through the part. So you don't have to, you can leave them flat, but forming them up like this actually even makes the part more rigid. So these are available in raw aluminum, black powder coat, with the squirter cutouts and without, and those are at Skillard.com. Please email us at sales@skillard.com if you have any questions.